All right. Well, wonderful. Hello and welcome to you. We are glad that you are joining us this evening. My name is Holly, and my husband Brian and I are actually coming to you live from Sarasota, Florida, where we made the great move from the state of Ohio because, well, we just didn't want to participate in winter anymore. Let's be honest. All right. And so tonight we're going to share with you a little bit about our story, the company's story, and really how you can benefit from the incredible technology that this company has to offer. And when this opportunity was presented to us, if you knew us back then, outside, right, from the outside, it looked like we had everything pretty well together and figured out. We had a home, we were both working good paying jobs, friends, family, all the things, right? But here's the thing. What we didn't have was time. Can you relate to that? Do you know anyone who can relate to that? There's never enough hours in the day to be able to get done what you need to get done. And that was our reality. We were both working 40 to 50 hours a week in our daytime jobs. But because we also understood the importance of multiple streams of income, even back then, right? We didn't want to put all of our eggs in one basket. Brian was also running a sports club and he was coaching on the nights and traveling most weekends. And so when I say the last thing that we had time for was another project, I'm not kidding, right? Not to mention almost, 20 years into my career, the stress and the demands of the job, they were really starting to take a toll. They were impacting my health, both physically and mentally. And we really started to take a look and be like, is this it? Is this really what life is meant to be? Okay. So we just kept asking, there's got to be a different way. So you may be curious, does life ever look like this little guy right here on the screen? You're just like, oh my gosh, no, right? Like you're juggling everything and you're still feeling like you're stretched thin. You're just waiting for a little bit of that breathing room, right? Maybe it's the pace of life in general. Maybe it's just overall pressure, the rising costs of just living. Oh my gosh, I don't know that anyway, I don't even want to go back and look at what gas prices were when I was able to start driving. It would just make me depressed. I don't know. But again, maybe it's your energy. Maybe it's more on the house side of things. Maybe your focus, maybe your sleep, maybe you just catch yourself thinking that maybe it's all a part of getting older. Okay. But the reality is that you're not alone in any of this thinking. All right. And what we're actually experiencing isn't unique to any of us. And Brian's actually going to share a few things that are really going to help us open our eyes this evening.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, open your eyes, because I see the picture of this little kid, and I know he's hoping that when he opens his eyes, it'll all
It'll all
be
go
better.
away. Yeah.
So I want to ask you, do you think that there's a problem? And let's talk both from the health and financial side, because quite honestly, when you really break it down, life comes down to two things, your health and your money. If you've got both out in, life feels pretty good. But if you're missing one or worse, both of them, it can feel like you're constantly fighting an uphill battle. And the reality, that's where most people are living right now. And some of what I'm about to show you might not be new, but seeing it all together tends to hit a little bit differently because when you really look at these numbers, it's a little alarming. And there's no question that these systems are broken. And if you have a solution for these issues, well, there's a huge opportunity for you. So let's look at the health side. I mean, 3 out of 4 adults have at least one chronic condition and have been diagnosed with at least two. Pretty alarming. Almost half the adults in the US are obese, and 2 out of 3 adults use at least one prescription drug. We're spending 4.5 trillion, that's trillion with a T, dollars in the US alone on healthcare. Now, on the financial side, 90% of households have less than 3 months of living expenses saved. That could be a problem if someone loses a job or something happened, they get sick. Two-thirds of people say they're living paycheck to paycheck. So they are counting on that next paycheck in 2 weeks to pay their bills. And 80% of credit cards right now have unpaid balances of over 7 grand. Now, this last one really, I think, is super alarming because the median retirement savings for people ages 45 to 54, and that's my age group, is 115,000. I mean, they are between 10 and 20 years of retire from retirement age, and they only have 115,000 on average in their retirement account. That's not going to get them very far, and that's why there's another statistic that's on the screen here is that 95% of people cannot retire ever, ever. They have to keep working until they die. Now, I want to show you real quick. This may look familiar, but it's called the cash flow quadrant. And if you follow a guy named Robert Kiyosaki, this will look a little familiar to you. And if you understand what it represents, you'll begin to think differently about money and wealth and what it takes to get it. On the left-hand side, you have employees and the self-employed. And that's where about 95% of people sit because this is what we're taught in school and what we're taught by our parents. So these folks are either working a job or they're self-employed, which means they own a job. Now, both are just trading time for money and they don't have any leverage. Okay, that's a phrase I'm going to use quite a bit tonight. It's leverage. Now, on the right-hand side are business owners and investors. And the big difference is that these people have leverage and that they own a system or they own capital, both which can make money even while you sleep. So if you find yourself at the left, the idea we are presenting to you tonight can move you from the left side to the right side. And these concepts are not taught in school. So it's important that you self-educate and change your mindset about how leverage can be created. So yeah, go ahead. I'm going to throw back to Holly. I'm throwing it back to you.
No, I appreciate it. So again, I'm just going to reiterate our goal here tonight is we're going to be sharing with you a different way to support your body and your health at the cellular level. This is not your typical conversation about when it comes to healthy aging and longevity, okay? And the other part is this is really just a simple way for people to create extra income alongside real life. All right. Now, you may be thinking, here's the deal. We didn't have all the answers when we got started. I will tell you that right up front. Okay. But then someone shared with us a national news investigation that raised some really important questions about what's really going on inside of our bodies. Now, have you ever felt your body just like isn't keeping up with you anymore? We already talked a little bit about that as far as we just chalk it up to getting older, right? We wake up tired even after we think we've had enough sleep. The scale keeps creeping up, even when you're doing all the things and your body just feels more sore than it should, or it's not recovering the same way that it used to. And let's be honest, our mental capacity and our ability to focus, it's a struggle. Walking into the room and forgetting why I went there is a common occurrence. Okay. And something's just not right, but we're told that everything is okay. And so the real story that we're going to actually share with you is where it all began, that technology that we talked about. It's only going to take a couple of minutes, but I want you to check out this video.
Yeah. So just kind of frame this up. This is an ABC investigative report, and it's a little dated. It's a few years old, but what they say in it is still very much true today. Now, the full version is 9 minutes long, but for time purposes, we kind of extracted the important parts of it down to 3 minutes here. But as you watch this, I want you to think about who needs this product and also how much money can you make if you have exclusive rights to the product that they're talking about in the investigative report. So let me give it a play.
You want to get an edge on turning back the clock with just a few pills? Who doesn't? Well, it's no longer science fiction, but science possibility, a potential breakthrough. As I found out firsthand, there may be a way to erase years, at least inside my body. But some scientists are wondering if a new pill I took might offer a very long life. It all centers around this small yellow pill, and for me, it begins with a blood test. They want to check my levels of something called T-bars, which is a rough indicator of a person's actual age. T-bars can identify a condition known as oxidative stress, a kind of measure of the wear and tear on our bodies. Oxidative stress, like the rusting of an engine, is not a good thing.
Bad for the body.
Leading to disease.
Leading to disease and leading to malfunction and, importantly, leading to what we call aging.
As our cells burn that food, they also release toxic chemicals. Those chemicals, you may know them as free radicals, react with all the components of our cells, literally bombarding them millions of times per second, damaging all our cells. The result? Oxidative stress, and we all have it. The body fights back with a system of defenses. It makes two antioxidant enzymes, catalase and SOD, whose job is to gobble up the free radicals before they can harm our cells. For a long time, scientists thought that antioxidant vitamins like C and E would lower it, but they don't. But this pill, he says, is powerful enough. In fact, many times more powerful. It's called Protandim, and tests on both mice and humans have already shown that it revs up the manufacture of those good enzymes in our bodies.
This preparation decreases oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is not a disease, just like aging is not in itself a disease, but it's something that accompanies and is attached to many disease processes.
Normally, oxidative stress, measured by those T-bars, increases with age. But in Dr. McCord's tests, taking just one pill of Protandim a day reversed that trend for everyone at every age, even for an 80-year-old. But what about my progress? Dr. McCord calculates the numbers. The result? My level of oxidative stress has declined dramatically.
45%, that's excellent.
Just look at where I fall on the graph, before and after. High oxidative stress is associated with more than aging. It's been linked to hundreds of illnesses.
It's at the very center of many diseases, but we do know that oxidative stress is part of those disease processes. I don't want to wait until I'm 80 years old and find out that I should have taken it.
The company that makes Protandim says its tests show the pill, made from ingredients used for centuries, is absolutely safe.
All right. So I watched that for the very first time several years ago, and I was intrigued. In fact, I had to watch it again because I just never heard of a product that does this. Now, I had to look up oxidative stress. So like most people, I didn't really understand it's important. And so when I looked it up, I understood that oxidative stress is the main cause of cellular aging and is linked to hundreds of illnesses, just like they said in the report. Every cell in your body suffers from oxidative stress, and it accelerates every year that you get older. Now, if you're still trying to grasp what oxidative stress is, think about this. If you cut an apple in half and leave it out on the counter, what happens? It turns brown in just a few minutes. Now, that's oxidative stress acting on an apple, and that same process is what's happening inside of your body right now. Now, if you go to this free government resource called pubmed.gov, you can search oxidative stress. And when I did this, 3 things stuck out immediately. 1, there's almost 400,000 studies that have been published about oxidative stress and its relationship to dysfunction in the body. Number 2, the graph that you see there on the left, you can see that it's sloping upward. Okay. And that showed me that research interest and the research dollars have been increasing in the past decade, which tells me that finding ways to lower oxidative stress can be super beneficial. And lastly, there are studies in here showing oxidative stress has a relationship with every illness I can think of. So all of that tells me that this is a big issue. And it's important for anyone who breathes oxygen. So that takes us to the product itself, which is called Protandim. Now, this works differently than any other product on the planet, and it's the only clinically proven product to reduce your oxidative stress by 40% in 30 days. And again, that oxidative stress equates to cell aging and dysfunction. So as you saw in the news report, antioxidant supplements don't even move the needle. And here is a 1-a-day pill that reduces oxidative stress 40%. After learning what it does, I will never go a day without this product. It is the most important product a human can take for their well-being. And I brought the receipts to prove it here because this product is such a breakthrough in innovation that over 24 universities have spent their own money to research Protandim for different age-related conditions. Places you've heard of like Harvard, Ohio State, Texas Tech, LSU, the American Heart Association has gotten involved, the National Institutes on Health have researched this product, and every single study has been peer-reviewed and published in various medical and scientific journals. Now, as a scientist myself, this really impressed me because you never see that type of research done on a name brand natural product. These are 2 of my favorite conclusions from those studies. One was from the National Institute on Aging. They did a government-funded study, and they found that Protandim increased the lifespan of mice by 7%, and was the only natural product to do so in their 20-year study on longevity. Also, Washington State University looked at this product, and they said Nrf2 is likely to be the most important health-promoting approach into the foreseeable future. It may become the most extraordinary therapeutic and preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. Now, I don't know about you, but that's a pretty powerful statement made by a bunch of researchers that weren't paid to say anything good about this product, but that was their conclusion. So let's talk about Protandim and our other products because LifeVantage is the activation company. Then people often look at our products and they're like, oh, you have supplements. And I'm like, no, these are not supplements. These are what we call natural activators. Well, what's the difference? Well, activation is all about turning on the cellular messages of the pathways for the purposes of expressing certain genes that have to do with your overall health. It upregulates different things like enzymes, proteins, peptides, molecules, and also downregulates harmful things that your body produces. But in a nutshell, it gets the body to do what it's designed to do. And this is much more effective and powerful than just taking supplements because supplements typically just fill a nutritional gap. They're there to support a bodily function, but often their science refers to just a study that may be done on the ingredient that they include. So activation is what we're all about with the products that we're talking about. Now, Protandim is the beginning of our story. And so we just didn't stop with Protandim. We actually took this innovative approach and implemented it into other products. So I'm going to kick it back to Holly here to quickly run through some of these products.
So, and don't worry, we're not going to dive really deep into each one of these products. If you want to know more than what we share with you this evening, get back with the person who invited you. They'll be happy to share whatever additional information that you may need. But again, what we found was that when you give the body the right support, it just works better. So everything that our company does is built around this activation concept, okay? So we already talked about cellular activation with Protandim and with Protandim. And then we also have what we call P84. This is our gut activation product. Now, this supports your gut unlike any other gut supporting product that I have ever met in all my life because it's where so much of your health starts. All right. If you have a healthy gut, there's a lot of things that are going to be better impacted. Your overall mood, your ability to sleep, your ability to lose weight, your just mental focus and clarity. There's so many things that are tied to our gut. And this product, hands down, honestly, I could spend at least an hour just talking about that product by itself. Then we have tissue activation. Yes, tissue. And what I mean by that is collagen. I'm sure you've seen all of the ads and the powders and sitting on the counters whenever you go into the stores. But this is the only liquid collagen, award-winning collagen, by the way, that helps your body create its own collagen. So like Brian said, we're not just filling that gap. And as you can see, Brian sharing with you some incredible before and after pictures of what people are experiencing with this product. So you really kind of have to ask yourself, if this is what people are seeing and on the outside, imagine what they're feeling and what's happening on the inside of their body. Okay. We always like to say that documentation beats conversation, right? So less is more. And then last but not least, we have our mind body GLP-1 system. Yes, I said GLP-1, but we are talking about the only all natural GLP-1 product on the market. It is a two-part system that is going to help you with appetite, energy, metabolism, shutting down that food noise, right? Quieting that food noise. And as you can see, again, before and after pictures, right? We can't like at the end of the day, this is all about healthy habits and getting our bodies to get back on track to be doing what they were already designed to do. Okay. And the best part, every single one of these products, they fit into your day simply. They're designed to work with your body and not against it. Okay. The P84, they're drink packets that you put into water, tastes really delicious, more than 40 different fruits and vegetables, which I know we don't get enough of as it is. But again, it's that gut activation and peptides and enzymes. So each one of these products has a different, unique way in which they're activating inside each and every single one of our bodies. And so again, what we've also learned is that this is a health technology that captures people's attention. Like Brian shared with you in the beginning in the stats. Now more than ever, people are focused on educating themselves on what they can do in order to improve their overall health. So if that's the case, then guess what? We can actually activate more than just our health when it comes to LifeVantage. Okay. And Brian's going to start kind of talking through what that actually looks like and what that can do for you.
Yeah, and so like Holly said, we have so much information about each of these powerful products. We use them all. and we absolutely love them, and we've seen what they can do in people. And in fact, we have thousands of physicians and healthcare professionals who work with us and work with this company because of the research that backs them up. They actually do work. And again, we have the receipts to prove it, right? So as Holly said, we can activate more than your body. We can activate your wallet a little bit because let's face it, like I said in the beginning, if you don't have either your health or your financial fitness, life can suck, honestly. And so almost everyone I know suffers from at least one of these pain points. I know we have in the past. Most working people suffer from stress and wish they had better work-life balance and more time to spend with loved ones. Many are suffering from health issues, low energy, and the effects of aging. It catches up with us sooner and then later, and we'd like to admit. So, how many of these are you experiencing right now, and who can you think of that are going through rough patches right now that you'd like to help? The good news is we have solutions for all of these pain points, and you have the opportunity to bring those solutions to others that may be praying for them right now. And so when you partner with us, this could really be the answer that you've been looking for. So do you know people who want to feel better? People who want to make more money? Quite honestly, I can't think of anyone who doesn't want to make more money. And those that want more free time because they may be making the money, but they don't have the time. They're money rich, but time poor. And so we really have a program that can really help people that are in these situations. So let me tell you a little bit about a company called LifeVantage. And you may not have heard of LifeVantage, but it is actually a publicly traded company on NASDAQ. They are debt free. Being publicly traded makes them financially transparent, which means you can see exactly how healthy this company is because they are an open book. Whether it's good, bad, or ugly, they have to report it. They've sold over $2 billion of these products, and very recently they were featured in Newsweek and Forbes magazine. Now, what they offer is a program to monetize these products and create a stream of recurring income for yourself. They make it very simple to be a consultant with this company so that you can earn money by sharing these innovative products with other people. Now, it's simple because there's no inventory for you to keep. There's no product to ship, no money to collect. The company does all the heavy lifting for you. They will give you a website that is coded to you that looks exactly like the company's website. Now, customers go to your website to look at the products and place an order. And when they order, the company is going to automatically ship the product to their doorstep, and they're going to make a deposit into your bank account for that referral. Then we have a wonderful subscription program where we reward the customers for going on subscription. We give them a price discount, and that's good for business. So if you are wanting a business, you want recurring income. So when customers go on subscription, you get paid every time their subscription runs month after month. So let me show you a little bit about how that works. So there's two ways we initially get paid, and that's called sales profit and sales bonus. Sales profit is about earning the difference between what a customer pays and the consultant price, or some call it the wholesale price. And so let me show you how this works. So every time a customer is placing an order, you are getting paid for that for between the price difference between what they pay and what a consultant pays. Okay, that is paid daily or weekly. Now, the other way we get paid on top of that is we will group all those customers that you enrolled together and pay you a bonus based on how big all those orders add up to. And we call that sales volume. So we have a sales bonus that goes up as your group of customers increases, which maxes out at 20%. So let's look at an example about that. So let's say this is one of our most popular product bundles, which is Protandim and P84. And when you sell that to 25 subscription customers, you are going to get $625 in sales profit, but your sales bonus is going to be $800. You add those two together, that is over $1,400 per month for those 25 customers. Okay, that's not bad. Most people, that will make a huge, huge difference in their life financially. So before I talk about the next part, let me ask you this question. Would you rather? If you've ever moved, you know moving is not fun. I do not want to move again. I do not like moving myself, right? So would you rather move yourself, or would you rather get a group of friends that help do the heavy lifting and pretty much all you have to do is point to where the boxes go? Okay. That is what we do here with LifeVantage to create leverage because you have the opportunity to actually enroll other consultants in this business. So you're not just selling product, but you are going to find people that need money. Like I said, I can't think of a single person who doesn't want to make more money right now. And so we find those people, we show them this program, and you can sponsor them into the program. And guess what? You are going to get paid a percentage of what all those people do. Some of your customers may raise their hand and say, you know what? I love these products. I want to share them with people I know. Can I get paid for it? And the answer is absolutely yes. And then what happens? Those people find people, and those people find people, and so on. And so you get a percentage of everyone in your organization 9 levels deep. And that can really add up. Well, how much can that add up to? Well, I'm glad you asked because I'm going to show you our earnings claim statement. This was just updated. And what this shows is what LifeVantage consultants are actually making on average. So let's take a look at this chart because the left-hand side shows you your rank. And your rank is loosely based on how much sales volume you are doing in your entire organization. The middle column is the monthly average commissions paid based on that rank. Some make more, some make less. And the third column is the average number of months that it takes to achieve that rank for the people who have achieved it. So let's look at Senior Consultant 2. That's 6 months average. Imagine if you're average 6 months from now making over $500 a month. That is nothing to sneeze at. Again, that amount can change a lot of lives for a lot of people. But when you consider that at a 6% interest rate, you would need over $100,000 in the bank to make that on a monthly basis in interest. Let's look a little bit higher. Let's look at a Managing Consultant 2. It's a little over a year on average to achieve this rank, but they make over $3,300 a month. I mean, that is a mortgage payment for a lot of people, for most people, in fact. So imagine a year from now, after saying yes and joining this business as a consultant, going to work, and a year from now, having your mortgage covered, having your car payment and then some covered when you have over $3,300 coming in every single month. Now, some of you, I know your eyes are going a little, oh, before I get there, that's the equivalent of over $676,000 in the bank at 6% interest, by the way. Now, like I said, some people's eyes are going a little bit lower on this chart. Let's look at Executive Consultant 1. 37 months, it's a little over 3 years. So imagine 3 years from now, life-changing income, the average is $14,000 a month. And if you do the math, that's equivalent of almost $3 million in the bank at 6% interest to get that on a monthly basis. What's easier, saving up $3 million over the next 3 years? $1 million a year? Can you do that? Or going to work in 3 years from now? Again, if you're average, maybe you're better than average. You can do this faster. Or maybe you're slower. Maybe it takes you 5 years. I think it'll still be worth it if you have $14,000 in recurring income after 5 years, 10 years even, for a lot of people. Okay? So that's a little bit about the money side of this. But you may be thinking, can I actually do this? So I'm going to kick it back over to Holly and have you walk through some of what a lot of people are thinking right now.
Yeah, and we're actually, as we round out the rest of this evening, again, I want you to be thinking about this, and it's a fair question, right? A lot of us are probably saying, can I actually do this? I mean, I don't have any experience, or maybe you feel like you don't have a big network, you don't know enough people, or you just don't have a lot of extra time. Look, I get it. We were exactly where you were. The last thing that we thought that we had time was for another business. But what we learned is that when you plug into the simple system that's already in play, all it requires is little pockets of time through conversations that you're already having with people anyway. Most people are talking about the economic situation as it is today, their finances, what they wish they could have more of or do more of, or maybe what they want less of. Okay, all of those things. But so they're like, okay, yeah, but maybe I could do this, but is it going to be worth it? Is it going to be worth it? Well, I can tell you that this was 100% worth it for us. I want you to think about this. Is it worth maybe feeling more healthy and being able to spend more quality time with the people that matter to you? Is it worth maybe having more money at the end of the month, or maybe better yet, just feeling that you have some breathing room, right? When it comes to your finances, being able to say yes more often instead of always like, I don't know, how much is that going to run me? More flexibility with your time. What if you became a part of a community and you felt more fulfilled because as you were helping people, right, you're giving back to yourself. There's something to be said about serving other people by sharing this technology with them and your ability to be able to manage and lessen your stress and anxiety about what's going to happen in the future. Are you going to be able to retire and live comfortably the same lifestyle that you have today, that you want today? So I will tell you, when Brian and I, like I said, life is going to continue to happen. It happens to all of us. And I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer here, but this is the reality of it. As we were building this business, yes, we didn't think that we had no prior experience whatsoever, you guys. We had never done anything like this whatsoever. But we allowed ourselves to be teachable. We attended the events. And yes, we plugged into the system that was already there. We didn't need to reinvent the wheel. But I'm glad that we did because just within 2 years, I believe, of us working and building this business alongside our real lives, something happened. After 20 years of service with my company, that's right, getting paid the best I'd ever been paid, the best performance review I'd ever received, I got a phone call and they told me that today is your last day. That's it. That was the end of my story. But the story gets better because a year after that, Brian gets a phone call from his boss. And they're like, hey, we've got some people that we need to lay off. We know you got this side gig thing going on. Do you really need this job? Because we know people that need this job. And Brian was able to actually raise his hand. But can you imagine a two-income household, both people losing their jobs within a year of each other? But the best part was that we had already dug the well before we were thirsty. And so we were able to reap the benefits of that. And if that wasn't enough of a sign to tell us to keep going and doing what we were doing, our incredible son, we were coming back from an incentive trip that we had earned through this company. We were in LAX, California airport, had just boarded our flight to head back home to Ohio, which we were still living at the time. And we get on the plane and my water broke. That's right. My water broke. Our son was coming almost 8 weeks early. Again, birth plan out the window. I'll tell you what though, he came quick in just a couple hours, but I tell you this story because we were where we needed to be when it mattered most. I wasn't worried about reaching out to my boss and asking for time off or filing paperwork for a leave of absence and hoping that my job would still be there whenever I got back. Nor were we stressing out about the bills, literally medical bills that were piling up. We spent an entire month staying in a hotel, walking to and from to the hospital every single day, spending every waking moment that we could with our son until he was healthy enough to be able to bring him home. Now, obviously, since then, there's been a pandemic. We've had hurricanes, we've had natural disasters. There's things that have continued to happen, but our LifeVantage family is still there. The income that we continue to earn from LifeVantage has not gone away because we dug that well before we were thirsty. And so I'm telling you, it's definitely worth it. We talk about short-term imbalance for long-term balance. Now, there's two ways that you can look at this. This is your next steps, if you will, right? This is what we do next. You can make a decision to decide to become a customer and start activating your own body at the cellular level. There's a variety of different packs and combinations of products based off of what your personal needs are when it comes to your own health. Or if as you were listening to these products and or looking at the money that was potentially could be earned through this business, you can enroll as a consultant and partner with us here. There's a couple different pack options in which you can choose to enroll with us, but you don't just get product with these packs, okay? What you get with the enrollment pack goes way beyond product, and that's really what we want you to go ahead and grasp here. Brian, do you want to kind of tell them what's included here as we're rounding around the corner?
Yeah, because a lot of people maybe enroll as a consultant and they get a pack that has a lot of product in it. And it's great to get familiar with all those products, but it just doesn't come with product. You get the website that I mentioned that's coded to you. That's critical for your business. Just as critical as a system. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. We actually have a system that you plug into. So that is also included. There is training. There's all types of training. There's online training, there's live training, there's Zoom training. So you will be able to develop the skills. And in fact, you don't even need to know a whole lot to actually get started here. you are part of a community. There, you'll find that there's a lot of like-minded people that are in here with you, just like you, looking for something different. Also, a lot of support. We work as a team. You're a business for yourself, but not by yourself. And you'll find yourself amongst others who want to see you succeed. Also, you get all that heavy lifting from the company. They have a shipping department, they have a product development department, they have an accounting department, all those things that I hated when I owned my own business. The company does that for you. Customer support. You are not customer support for your customers. There is a whole bank of reps who are there to answer questions and help people with their orders and their accounts. If with an 800 number that they can call, or they can manage their account online. Also, tax benefits. It's tax season, right? And so the tax code is very beneficial for people who own a business just like this. So all that is included when you enroll to be a consultant. Trying to get the next slide. Oh, there it goes. Just popped up.
So again, when we said yes to this, we didn't have all the answers. And I get it. You may be asking yourself a lot of different questions right now, but I will tell you, overthinking something, it's not the way to go. The best thing that you can do is to have that fear of missing out, make a decision to partner with us and go ahead and get started. Because I'm telling you, when it's all said and done, it is so worth it. As I said, our life looks so different today than it did before. Okay. We're both able to be present parents to our son, Austin. I'm very much involved in his school versus trying to squeeze it in between everything. Brian loves to golf. He gets to pretty much do that whenever he wants, not just on
Not a
the
bad gig.
weekends. Right. I mean, just ask yourself, what are the things that you would do more of if you had more time to do them in? Right. I love to bake and I also love helping dogs. And so I actually had the free time now to partner with a local shelter where I actually bake and 100% of the profits actually go to support that organization. Think about that. What organizations would you contribute more to? What would you contribute to or be more involved in? But I will tell you, um, besides all the things that have benefited our lives, and the biggest part I think for us has been the people. We're sharing with you pictures of our actual team members of ours at different events coming together. And it's this community of people who are constantly supporting one another, encouraging one another. Because unlike in my corporate job, every one of us wants to see each other succeed. We want each of us to be able to get out of this business what we want to get out of this business. And so our goal is really just to meet people where they're at. But these individuals have truly become an extension of our family. And so, at the end of the day, I guess Brian's got this quote up here, right? Like, you just have to ask yourself, do you want more options? What does that look like? And what are you doing today that's going to allow you to have more of those options, to be able to do more of what you want to do?
So so you got to face with a choice tonight, and if you don't make a decision, that's making a decision. Okay. But if you want to change something in your life, I think we have a program that can address pretty much every issue that people are encountering, whether it be a health issue or a financial issue. And I love this quote from Jim Rohn: "Life does not get better by chance; it gets better by change." And this is a great program to make a change in your life for the better. And so, as we leave you tonight, please get back with the person who invited you here and let them know where you're at. Whether you want to be a customer and get activated, or maybe you got 5 or 10 people going through your head right now that need to see this information and can benefit from the products, or maybe they need some money and need some extra cash. And so let them know where you're at. And we'd love to welcome you to the LifeVantage family. It's a lot of fun here, as we pointed out tonight. So thank you so much for sticking with us tonight. I believe this information is going to be very beneficial for you. And if you say yes to this, for the people that say yes to this could absolutely change your life. It could be life changing. I know it's impacted ours and thousands of other people who said yes. And there's going to be thousands, if not tens of thousands of people who actually benefit for the people that say yes to this. And that's just how this program works. So thanks, everybody. Have a good night. We'll hope to see you soon.